Hello, everyone. Welcome to Jamaica 411. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'm your host, Michelle Stern. Well, friends, I have some breaking news, and I want to thank my friend Bright Eye who called me and asked me, what is thing? And I have to tell you, I wonder to myself, I think it is important to bring it to your attention because the Gleaner make a stunning report. They said they saw a document, an MOU, between the government of Jamaica and the government of the United States that sound to me like the United States seems to be taking up this thing of trafficking in human. That is just me way if you look on it. But then report. And as a result of them reporting without clarity, I have to say that all familiar brain, but can stew over things and things like that and sort things out, puzzle. And I'm going to read for you the breaking news and where it is possible for me to surmise what is going on in the report. I will try my best to surmise. And I hope at the end of it all, we will get the deuce of what them talking about. And of course, as good fortune would have it, before we publish, Dr. Horace Chang, the Minister of National Security, made a statement, and we'll be bringing you that information as well. So the breaking news began with the Gleaner deportee deal. Jamaica offers to accept non-nationals being booted. That was supposed to have been published 13 hours ago by the Gleaner. Now, it is important that we read the Gleaner article because it said a little bit more than what Dr. Chang said. And Dr. Chang also provided information that was not in the Gleaner report. So we're going to bring the two of them for you. So the Gleaner began by saying that Kingston and Washington are expected to begin talks on an agreement first pitched by a senior Jamaican government official that could see the island accepting up to 10,000 non-Jamaicans being deported from the United States. Now, the agreement was first pitched by a senior Jamaican government official. Are they saying that it was we who approached the United States? If that is what the Gleaner is saying, that is not accurate. Based upon what Dr. Chang said, it was the United States who approached us. And when we get to what Dr. Chang said in his own statement, we'll have it confirmed. And the number of foreign nationals to be accepted is not 10,000, but we'll come to that later. They went further to say a document from the United States Embassy in Kingston, seen by the Gleaner, somebody show them, outlines the operational framework for the proposed Third Country Nationals Agreement. That's the name of the agreement that they're supposed to be negotiating. Third Country Nationals, which has triggered controversy in several countries that have entered into similar arrangements with Washington. The Third Country Nationals deals came under local scrutiny last year when a Jamaican man, Orville Etoria, where that name come from? Orville Etoria was deported from the United States to the African country of Eswatini, formerly Swaziland, which is way down. They're not just sending to Africa. They're sending way down the southern part of Africa because Eswatini, I believe, is adjoining or surrounded by South Africa, if I remember right. Right? So them send the Jamaican man, not to Jamaica, but way over in Africa. And a matter of fact, Eswatini is one of the best run African country. Don't know why I never stay, but they said anyway that following intense international scrutiny and diplomatic pushback, the Eswatini government released and repatriated him to Jamaica in late September 2025, and he was reunited with his family. Now, I need you to make special note of what this is saying, because you're going to hear some terms in the agreement that sounds like what old-time people would say, too good to be true. You heard what it says here. Them shipped the Jamaican man to Swaziland, Eswatini, in the southern part of Africa. And it took intense international scrutiny and diplomatic pushback before the Eswatini government decided to send the Jamaican back to his country where he come from. Right? That's what this is saying. So apparently, had there not been this diplomatic pushback, he would have still stuck in Eswatini. The government would not have sent him out. And the Gleaner doesn't say why. But it will be interesting to hear what that man had to say as to the reason why the Eswatini government decided to keep him. Never wanted to let him go, despite the fact that they know him a Jamaican and the Jamaican government didn't refuse to have him. That is my impression of what is being said here. But let us read on to see if this is how the program's supposed to work. So the Gleaner now is going to tell us what this program is about. Under the proposed Memorandum of Understanding, the United States would transfer up to 25 foreign nationals every 2 weeks to Jamaica for an unspecified period. Now, when you do the calculation, 25 foreign nationals, up to 25 foreign nationals every 2 weeks, that work out to 650 foreign nationals. Not the 10,000 that the Gleaner talk about. No, but then we should not be surprised. Remember, during the election, it was the Gleaner that was putting out those fuzzy maths that was being produced by Don Anderson. So it is and should not be surprising that they should do a calculation of 25 foreign nationals every 2 weeks and get a figure of 10,000. Right? So it is up to 650 persons. But let me continue. This is expected to be a case-by-case arrangement, the draft MOU said, in which the U.S. may use its discretion to propose transfers, and the government of Jamaica may, in its discretion, consider accepting the proposal in whole or in part. So the U.S. is going to say to Jamaica, all right, me have them 25 people I want to send come here. And the Jamaican government say, I who them? And then tell them this and tell them that. And them say, okay, well, I tell you what. Me no want 25, send 15. Or they might say, well, send the whole of them come. We're good. Right? So it's a matter of discretion. The United States is under no obligation under this agreement. This is saying to send anybody to Jamaica. And Jamaica, if the U.S. decide that they need to send out some people, Jamaica is under no obligation to accept them. That's all that this is saying here. They went on further to explain the contents of the MOU. The arrangement would explicitly exclude unaccompanied minors, Jamaicans, and individuals convicted of serious criminal offenses. And then I'm quoting now, to the extent known to the U.S. government, except in cases involving violations of U.S. immigration laws. Prior to any transfer, each proposed deportee's biographical, medical, and criminal documentation, to the extent available and permitted by law, is to be provided to the Dr. Andrew Holness-led government. So what is this saying? In the agreement that them knock out, this is a draft agreement, so finalized yet. Now they said that the agreement explicitly exclude Jamaicans because the whole idea is not to send the citizens of a country back to their own country, right? The whole idea is to send them somewhere else. And we shall soon see why they come up with this idea. So there will not be Jamaicans, there will not be unaccompanied minors, and the individuals convicted of serious criminal offenses will not be sent to Jamaica. Maybe minor criminal offenses, but not the serious one then. And they need to specify in the agreement what they mean by serious, because they might mean something that and we mean something else. Then them went to talk about what information they'll be giving to the government prior to sending them here, because the government need to know who these people are. The United States government is required to provide biographical information, them name, them country where them come from, the nationality, their date of birth, um, all the things that you need to know about the person, if they're married or they're not married, and so on and so forth. They're required to disclose any medical issues, and they must send to the government of Jamaica what criminal information them have about them. If these persons were convicted criminals, whether in the United States or somewhere else, they must disclose that to the Jamaican government. That is what this is saying here. Both countries intend that all actions taken under the MOU will be in accordance with respective obligations under the Convention relating to status of refugees, also known as the 1951 Refugee Convention, the document said. So, whatever the requirements of this convention that the United States and Jamaica signed to, they are saying that they must abide by the conventions. That's what it them say here is in the document. Further, the US wants to assure Jamaica that it would treat any deportee in a manner that is in accordance with its international legal obligations and would not be subjected to persecution on account of race, religion, nationality, membership in particular social group, or political opinion or torture. So this is the United States promising the Jamaican government that those persons that they'll be sending will not be subject to any persecution on their part. In relation to them assurance to Jamaica, they also went on to say, this should not occur in Jamaica or in any other country to which Jamaica may subsequently transfer them. So we're definitely speaking about transshifting people from the United States through Jamaica to somewhere else. And we're going to read to see if them specify where that somewhere else should be, because that should be important. Otherwise, we may end up saddled with these people, and then what do we do with them? Can we send them back? That is a question that we need to ask. According to the MOU, either country, that is the US or Jamaica, would be able to discontinue the arrangement at any time. But a 90-day written notice is required through diplomatic channels, which means I have to contact the US Embassy here in Jamaica if they want to end the program, giving them 90 days notice. And that's all that this is saying here. Nothing in this MOU is intended to create any rights or obligations under the international or domestic law, including with respect to the disbursement or obligation of funds, the proposed pact said. Now, this I find very interesting. And let me read it because, them a little convoluted legalistic business here, kind of, just that convoluted. So sometimes we have to read it in bits and pieces. So let us see if we can understand. It took me a little while to figure it out. Nothing in the MOU is intended to create any rights to the disbursement or obligation of funds. It seems to suggest to me that the government of Jamaica is not being paid to accept these people. Why are we doing it? If we are not getting any money from it, what we are doing it for? And that is a very good question to ask, my people. Very good question to ask, because it may be suggesting something. And when I read later on why the United States decided to start this third country nationals agreement, it will reveal a lot. It further outlined that the third country nationals with a final or expedited order of removal and individuals who are medically authorized to travel by the United States Department of Homeland Security would be eligible for transfer to Jamaica. So all that this is saying is that once they have expedited the order to have these people removed and they are medical fit to travel, the U.S. Department of Homeland Security would then authorize that travel, right? And then these are the people who would be eligible to be transferred to Jamaica, not those persons with criminal background, right? That is what the MOU seems to be saying. The government, I'm quoting now, the government of the United States of America intends to propose to the government of Jamaica to transfer to Jamaica up to 25 individuals every 2 weeks. And this now is a critical term of the MOU that I want you to pay close attention to. It says, and they're quoting from the document, if at any point 10 or more individuals transferred by the government of the US remain in Jamaica for more than 30 days, the government of the United States will pause proposing the transfer of additional individuals until fewer than 10 transferred persons remain in Jamaica. You get that? What I'm saying is, in essence, after them transfer 25 people to Jamaica, if there's any circumstance where we were unable to ship them out and we end up with more than 10, they might pause the program. They not send no more. They don't want us to be overwhelmed. That is basically what this is saying. It went on to say, it said the Jamaican government may decide to exceed any figure at its discretion and in such a case would inform the US. So they can decide to put in a request for the United States government to send more persons or to decrease the number of persons that they agree to send. That is what that is saying. So this would have been something that we would have negotiated, and them seem very amenable to all of this. Sounds too good to be true to me. The United States need as many countries as possible in this program. They are anxious to have Jamaica in this program, and anything that Jamaica said them want, they say, yeah man, sure man, yeah man, everything good, right? Just like what Trump did to Iran when they wanted the peace agreement. They agreed to everything that Iran said, which made no damn sense. Them are going to keep them nuclear program, them for pay them $200 billion, them for this and them for that, and them agreed, and then turn round. And after the ceasefire, said them don't agree to no such thing. You get me? So when I say that this looks to me too good to be true, the Jamaican government better be careful of what they must sign up into. Because these people, especially under that lunatic account, what the Indian man said, they are the deranged occupant of the White House. He's not a man to be trusted. And him is the man who would be, I suppose, authorizing all these transshipment of human beings out of the United States. At the same time, the proposed MOU stated that the agreement does not financially commit either the United States or Jamaican governments. What the hell that mean? Who is then supposed to pay for the transit of the people to Jamaica? It would be by the United States government. When them in a Jamaica for the 30 days or more, who is going to be paying for these people to stay here? What do you mean by does not financially commit the US or Jamaican government? I don't get that. So who going to pay? Well, let us read on. Maybe there's some clue. However, it said the United States intends to review available foreign assistance funds to support the initiative and plans to pay a qualified international organization for services it provides to individuals transferred under the MOU. What the hell is this saying? Jamaica will not get a dime out of this arrangement, not a penny. What they promised to do, though, is to review. You hear that? They're going to review available foreign assistance funds. So any foreign assistance funds that them have, that them can send to Jamaica, they will send it. So we now are entering into this agreement with the United States to transship human beings, right? Them have a problem. It is not our problem. They have a problem and they are transferring that problem to Jamaica, and we are not expected to get a dime to take care of these people here. What they're going to do is to pay a qualified international organization And that company will be in Jamaica providing these individuals when them deport service. So they'll be paying whatever money to take care of these people to that company. So if the government intended to pay out, say, $20 million a month, it is that company going to get it, not we. What are we going to get out of the arrangement? And then whose responsibility will it be to get these people out of the country? Will it be the international organization or the government of Jamaica? How do we in Jamaica benefit from this arrangement? And if we're not benefiting, why the hell we're entering into it? Let us read on, because maybe somewhere along the line we may get some clues. They now seek to explain to us what this MOU is all about. The MOU's purpose, the document said, stems from the need to prevent the abuse of lawful migration systems, to deter illegal, facilitated, and unlawful border crossing migration, and to counter the negative effects of unlawful migration. A whole heap of things is being said here. The reason why the United States is deporting these people and doing it in this way, not sending them back to the countries that they come from, that they know them come from, it is according to the MOU a need to prevent the abuse of lawful migration. So those persons are supposed to be now deterred. You get that? It's supposed to discourage them from trying to re-enter the United States, not sending them back. I mean, people who cross the border say, well, if me get caught, all I'm going to do is send me back. Well, no. That's the whole idea with this thing. And it is aimed at the unlawful cross-border migration. People go through the Mexican border, the Canadian border, right? Don't get caught. So it is intended to discourage people from using that mechanism to get in the United States rather than use the legitimate immigration facilities that's available to them. And then they went on to say to counter the negative effects of unlawful migration, particularly those that are coming through the borders. It means to say that the government don't know nothing about them, right? They're not going to the embassy where they can check them out. They're coming through the borders. For all they know, there might be persons coming for, with bad intentions. And then the government needs to plan. And for that, they need to know how many persons in the country that they're, providing services to. If they succeed in getting people out, and they have been doing so in this manner, sending them to a country to which they don't belong, what they are doing is exporting their problem to other countries, employing all manner of bullying tactics to get them to sign because they don't want to pay no compensation. The US, under its Immigration and Nationality Act, has leveraged. Now, this now is what they're telling you now. How the US managed to get these agreements. Listen good. The United States, under its Immigration and Nationality Act, has leveraged first bilateral deals. So then go to countries and say, Chama, come I could make a deal. Them talking to them as equals. For some who are not persuaded, them offer them financial packages. I will give you money if you take these people. It's the only way you can persuade them, or if you feel you can persuade them, that we offer them money. And then there is geopolitical pressure to secure agreements with more than 30 countries across Latin America, Africa, Europe, Asia to accept non-citizens. Geopolitical pressure refers to the use of political, economic, military, or diplomatic leverage by one country to influence the behavior, policies, or decisions of another. So that is what I'm talking about, right? Them no want pay no compensation to the countries for taking in these nationals. So instead, them use whatever leverage they think they have over that country. Your country is weak economically or militarily, or them figure say you have a weak jellyback leader, them use that to bully them and tell them say, them better sign or else. But that is something that they will only try if they know them dealing with jellyback people. They will not try it with strong people. They will negotiate bilateral agreements with the strong people. Yes. And bully the wimps. We know, based upon what the gleaner is saying is in the MOU, that they never offer the Jamaican government any money. So it's either a bilateral deal or geopolitical pressure that was used on our government to induce them to enter into a deal. It seems for all the world we're not getting nothing out of it. Them getting something by exporting them problems, and we are not getting nothing out of it. Now something don't look right there. Too good to be true. But I suppose if we are to understand anything that's going on, we have to ask the critical question. Why? Why did the United States government create the Third Country Nationals Arrangement? What is them called a TCN? Why did they create it? Why go through all that trouble? Instead of simply deporting the people straight back to where they're coming from, why are they going through this convoluted way? Not shipping them straight back home, but instead shipping them elsewhere. Well, let us find out. So it says that the United States government created the third country national deportation arrangements, primarily to bypass logistical bottlenecks and deter unauthorized migration. So there were two aspects to it. First, they wanted to deter people from coming into the United States. And secondly, they needed to bypass whatever logistical bottlenecks that occurs whenever it is them attempting to repatriate people, deport them. How do they go about, though, making these arrangements with countries that not used to this strange, this strange behavior of the United States? Well, it says, by paying or pressuring foreign nations to accept migrants who have no connection to those countries, the U.S. aims to circumvent legal obstacles in returning migrants to unstable origins and discourage future border crossers. So once them catch and deport these people, they want to make sure that the mechanism that they use going to discourage them to try and make the attempt to come back. And then there is the problem of returning people to circumstances where that they call unstable origins. Problems are happening in the country. So they're talking now about the refugees. You can't send back the refugees to a country where they might end up being dead. So sending them to another country will solve that problem. They went on to say the rapid expansion and use of these agreements stem from several key motivations. What is motivating them? It says evading logistical and legal roadblocks. In many cases, it is impractical, inadvisable, or impossible to return migrants to their home countries due to diplomatic disputes, them and the people have a problem, armed conflict between them and the country, or the refusal of home countries to accept their citizens back. TCN arrangements allow the United States to swiftly deport individuals elsewhere. So you hear the problem and the problems that we're having when I'm trying to send back some people. There are some persons that they can't send back because them countries said they don't want them back. Sometimes you have armed conflicts taking place, you can't send them back. And then there's a matter of diplomatic disputes between them and the country, and therefore them can't send them back in that way. So this is telling us in no uncertain term that this arrangement is for the benefit of the United States and not the benefit of the third party country. They have a problem with the United States and they want to pass that problem on to somebody else. What would happen in the circumstances where we receive 25 persons and those 25 persons happen to be people that the United States was trying to deport directly and the one country said they don't want them and them reaching to Jamaica, what then happened? When them reach into Jamaica, we contact which part then come from. Them say, look, we don't want them back. What then do we do? Can we send them back to the US? We need to find out this, Mr. Chang. You need to tell us whether or not in those circumstances we'll be able to send them back to the United States. Will they accept them? What mechanism is in place in order to prevent persons who were rejected by them home country landing in Jamaica? Will there be a requirement under the full agreement that the United States should disclose those persons? I should think, Mr. Chang, that you may want to put in the agreement that such persons should not be sent to Jamaica. But, I have a little suggestion, because some of these persons may well be qualified people, especially the ones that running away from their country and can't go back. I would suggest to you, Dr. Chan, that we could very well find some of these people useful, especially refugees. How about asking the United States only to send persons that them deporting who are doctors, who are nurses, and who are teachers and engineers? We could have do well with some of the doctors and the nurses then, because we're short. And therefore, when the people them come to Jamaica, rather than send them on to the other country if they're prepared to stay, we offer them our easy way of staying in Jamaica, the unconditional landing permit in their passport. All you have to do is stamp that in their passport, and then can live and work in a Jamaica like Mark Golding did for many years. And then we'll be able, though, to have some people working in our hospitals and and nurses and doctors, and in the process solve some of our problem, while at the same time solving the refugees problem. What do you think about that? That sounds like a good plan? What you all think? Tell me in the comment section if you agree that this could be a plan if the agreement will allow it. I mean, if the United States have no use for them and then come into Jamaica and it turn out that they have qualifications that we can use and then prepare to stay, why not keep them? I'm all for that, because they'll be making a contribution to our national development. They have something to offer. Some of them may well be business people coming from countries, right, where they have political instability, and them going to the United States, and Trump decides to not want them. Well, if they have um, skills to make money and do business, and prepare to stay, give them an unconditional landing permit, and then pay whatever it is, and let them stay. Tell me what you all think about that. There are all sorts of people that the US is trying to get out, and we can take advantage of the situation and take the best of the best and keep them here in Jamaica if they're willing to stay. What you all think about that? Tell me. I happen to think it's a good idea myself. Yes. Anyway, the gleaner then, it was 60 minutes at the time, it's hours now, but government confirms talks on US deportee transit deal vows strict safeguards. So they have a nice picture of Dr. Chang, and it says the government has confirmed that it is negotiating a controversial United States-backed migration arrangement to allow non-Jamaicans deported from the US to transit through the island, but says it is not opening the country's borders for an uncontrolled program. A statement from the Ministry of National Security and Peace issued Tuesday afternoon said the safety and security of Jamaicans and visitors to the island, as well as its obligations under international law, and they're quoting him now, have guided every step of the discussions on this memorandum of understanding between Jamaica and the United States of America concerning the third country nationals. The statement follows a Gleaner story published early Tuesday, which disclosed that the United States had sent a proposal to the government. The United States had sent a proposal to the government regarding Jamaica's acceptance of third country nationals. So this is saying that Dr. Chang is saying that it was the United States who had approached us. And they are quoting Dr. Chang now. I want to first clarify that the individuals who may be transferred under the framework are not being brought to Jamaica as permanent migrants. We got that. These are nationals of countries other than Jamaica who are being facilitated through the structured process to transit through Jamaica to a third territory. A third territory, including return to their home countries. Okay. So the whole idea of the plan is to transship these people through Jamaica to a third territory. Who determines what territory that should be? Is it we in Jamaica or is it the United States? Right? And it says including return to their home countries, which means that if them home countries refuse to have them, then the arrangement is to send them somewhere else. Right? I suppose it's like what's the name of that man? Aristide. Aristide was accommodated and was a head of state, so a country accommodated him. Idi Amin, I think, was accommodated by Libya and so on and so forth. And some go Russia, some from the communist bloc come to United States and England, wherever them think they can be protected. So these persons that are being deported from the United States may well end up in a third party country. So we are going to have to sit and wait until some other third party country decide to take them in. But as they said, if we have not been able to make the arrangement for the majority of them, and there are less than 10 in the island, them have to stop the program until we get rid of most of them. I am saying to the government of Jamaica, look into these people background carefully. Them not sending us any criminal, beautiful. But if them have something that we can use in this country and build this country where people are leave and they want somewhere to stay, and if them prepare to stay with us and drink some coconut water, eat some ackee and saltfish, and them have like engineering qualification and some kind of qualification that we can make useful, take them if them prepare to stay and don't send them go nowhere else. So this could be beneficial to Jamaica depending on the caliber people that they're going to send. And it seems as if this MOU, the Americans are so desperate to have this MOU going and this agreement signed that they may well be inclined to send us the quality persons that we ask them to send us. Yes, think about it. It went on to say, Jamaica is not opening its borders for an uncontrolled migration program, Security Minister Dr. Horace Chang said in the statement. He said the MOU is the outcome of negotiations between two sovereign partners and that it is not an automatic acceptance of any proposal. And we got that from the gleaner that was what the MOU said. So Chang said in his statement that Jamaica's technical teams engaged in detailed discussions with their U.S. counterparts to ensure that the framework included the necessary safeguards and protections for the country. Now, they would be talking about them not sending any criminals and them not sending anybody with any disease coming in a country going to infect with people. At no point did Jamaica compromise its sovereignty or ignore its duty to the Jamaican people. We were clear about our national interests and relied on our experience over many years in managing international migration matters to inform our position throughout the negotiations. That is all very well, Dr. Chang. But will the United States keep to them agreement? And if them don't keep to them agreement, what you can do about it? Because it doesn't seem as if they're making any monetary overtures to say, Jamaica, we want you to keep these people. We're going to give you $5,000 a day for these people while they're in Jamaica. Right? And then we take care of the people them and send them on their way. No, they're not sending you any financial incentives. So I am wondering if it is the geopolitical pressure that was put on us. You see, we have our $5 billion in the NIR in at the Bank of America. Where we put it there so far? Warm to the Bank of Jamaica, why can't we here? And by the way, Sister Favor, I have a little suggestion. I think it's time we take away NIR and bring it home and lock it up in the Bank of Jamaica. What do you think? And if you should contact the Bank of America and ask them back for this money, and then say they can't give you until how much months or years, because it's a whole heap of money, then may I suggest maybe you think about buying gold. Yes, that might be a good thing. Buy some gold. And then you store. Now, of course, storing gold is problematic, because you need not only a strong room, a very strong room, but them things are heavy. But you can also borrow against gold. But I think it's time, though, Sister Favor, that we should repatriate our money. We're talking about repatriating our sovereignty. Why not repatriate our money? That is much easier. And lock it up in the Bank of Jamaica. That is what I suggest. And maybe we can or should follow suit with the other countries, and instead of keeping our money in US dollars, keep them in yuan, Chinese currency. He said there will be no transfers until both countries have agreed on the required operational procedures for orderly implementation. In other words, until the company that the United States intend to hire is in place, and they make the arrangement as to where these people are going to be housed, and so on and so forth. He said individuals with criminal antecedents will not be accepted under this arrangement, as Jamaica's security considerations remain paramount. We got that much. And he said that there is no truth to what the Gleaner had published, that the number of persons them intend to accommodate may reach 10,000. He then went on to confirm what the Gleaner had reported. 25 persons would be expected. That's what the US is proposing, sending 25 persons every 2 weeks. And that they will stop the program if we have at any time 10 persons or more in the island, and the government now managed to get them transferred to either the third party country or to their home country within 30 days. The final numbers under this arrangement, therefore, remain contingent on that flow, and it is designed to establish parameters that are appropriate and manageable for Jamaica. Remember, we're saying that, so that we are not overwhelmed. The government of Jamaica has also insisted that all actions under this arrangement comply with domestic and the domestic laws of both countries and applicable international obligations. So them don't want them to be bringing in people under any other circumstance. Remember, it is another company that will be accommodating these people apparently when they reach Jamaica. And the last paragraph is what we're particularly interested in. The United States has indicated that it will cover all costs associated with the transfer process and related arrangements. To determine what they intend to pay for, we have to determine what is the transfer process. There are two transfer processes that will take place. One from the United States to Jamaica. It is obvious that they will take care of that. And perhaps the second one they'll take care of is the transport of these people out of Jamaica to the wherever it is that we manage to arrange for them to go. But we need clarity on that. It is very important that we revisit how the United States managed to get countries to agree with them on this, which is what they're coming with. The United States has secured these agreements, including regional frameworks across Latin America, the Caribbean, and Africa. Latin America, the Caribbean, and Africa, using a mix of financial incentives, diplomatic negotiations, and geopolitical pressure, such as potential trade tariffs and travel restrictions. Now, Dr. Chang used words like negotiations, right? That them negotiating. And it seems as if everything that them want, them seem to be getting, right? Favorable conditions. But are they going to stick to the deal? How it was that they could have gotten the Jamaican government mixed up in this business? Negotiations? How did they get us to reach a stage of negotiations? We want to know from Dr. Chang, did these people threaten us with either trade tariffs or, travel restrictions? We want to know, because if these people intend to make us their enemies, them should tell us. Be brave, man, and tell us. Because, Mr. Trump like to boast about him mighty army where him have and oh them can do this and them can do that. We don't need no army. We don't need a ship. We don't need no missile or fling away. All we need to do is set we goat mouth pound no. And there's not a damn thing no can do about that. Can we not believe in them thing there? Well, make we watch and see what going on now. Let us see if they have conceded the amount of control that them seem to be suggesting that they are doing. And let us see if the agreement is signed, if the United States government will stick to the agreement as them claim them intend to. I have a feeling they don't intend to, but make we watch and see if we have to go to St. Thomas, go jump come in for that brute in the White House. He can't sleep already when night come, all hours in the night him a tweet. You know, when we go to St. Thomas, go jump come in for him, Talk to me, my people. You know, when we set goat mouth pan him, because all kind of crosses can start following him. So make him carry on. Anyway, that's all I have for you today. Please let me know what you think about all of this excitement in the comment section. And remember to give the video a thumbs up, subscribe, leave a comment in the comment section, and also share. Until next time, take very good care of yourselves and walk good.